As they say, what a weekend. What a weekend indeed it was. The weekend is gone. I hope everyone kind of enjoyed it. I mean, in my estimate, I look at it like this, people. Um, you are going to have to you like my Bengals hat. Okay, let's get back in. Let me refocus up. All right. I was kind of doing some unnecessary things. All right, so we are back. This is Catch Up with Coach. Woo! What a weekend did we have amongst us. I mean, this was one of those weekends you're like, well, in fairness, all the weekends have been great. They all have been great. Let's jump in. You see, I got my Bengals hat. I told you guys, I'm the ultimate mush. You see, I wear my Bengals hat. I bought the Bengals and I bought the San Fran because I didn't think they were going to get it done. Even though the Bengals was on fire, but we started with the Bengals. So hats off. And to my guy, come get your hat, dog. You know I love you, bro. But since I had it, I had to wear it during the show. Okay. All right. So the Bengals. Man, what a game. So I know you guys heard me talk about it earlier in the week, how I didn't expect Magic Mahomes to be just full go. He was gimpy the whole game. But I will say this. If you thought he could not just make the throws from the pocket in that nest, I think he proved you wrong yesterday. And here's what I also learned about the Chiefs. By way of the Jags, is the Jags are a much better team than what we really thought. I mean, a much better team. That defense is 2 times better than the Bengal defense. That Bengal defensive line was like lost in the sauce. Like we got a thing, don't be Velcro. I teach a thing on the D-line, don't be Velcro and don't go caveman. Velcro obviously is you just too sticky. You're too sticky. Get off, get an edge, get a bend. Right? And so don't go Velcro and don't go caveman. Caveman is you just, what do I do? I got to get to the passer. We need a sack. Right? Unfortunately, that's what the Bengals did. They went caveman and they got Velcro. And if I had to be honest, I thought if the Bengals were to beat the Chiefs, it was going to be because the defensive line got busy. Period. That was the only reason. And because I know Mahomes is gimpy. Now, if they was able to get to him, here's a kicker. I don't think Mahomes was touched once. I don't think he was sacked. You know what I'm saying? So consider, they couldn't get to him. He was gimpy, and you got to control all his receiving threats. And they went into the game beat up. All right, Marquez had 6 catches for 116 yards, 1 touchdown. He got it off. But you wouldn't have bet that was going to be the guy to do him in. Travis, I will admit, I thought they did a decent job with him considering how many times they went in red zone, and he's a red zone killer. Marcus Kemp, no relation to Sean Kemp. I mean, look, I guess my point is this me throwing you stats and throwing you names of the players who played. My point is this. Rushing, I didn't think the Bengals did not force their hand to like run the ball. And so I'm often reminded of I think it was the 94 Bills. The 94 Bills had Thurman Thomas, who was a 1,000-yard rusher. And They're playing, here's the kicker. They're playing the New York Giants, the great Bill Belichick. I'll never forget this documentary. And in this documentary, he said, listen, he went to his defense. He said, guys, Thurman Thomas has to get at least 120 yards. His whole defense was like, what? Because the reality of it is, if he has 100 yards, like that 94 Buffalo team was an explosive offensive team. They had a running back, they had receivers, they had a quarterback, they had the whole gamut. But the Giants schematically approached the game with, all right, they have a good running back, but their running back is not who they want to really beat people with. I say all that to say, IP had 10 carries for 26 yards. Like, that's not going to do it against Philly, dog. It's just not. But let's not go that far yet. We can't talk Super Bowl preview till we get through the whole game. Okay, now kudos to the Bengals defense, because out the gate, it was not going well. And you know what they did? Okay, listen. The Chiefs were putting together long drives. I mean, you're not really – this is a Chiefs team I did not really see do 12, 14, 15 play drives for touchdowns normally. They're a quick hitter squad, generally speaking, just because of how Mahomes works. It was I was pleased and delighted to see that this entire team was able to switch gears from an execution standpoint, because they can't do all of the waggles and boots and all of the things that makes the Chiefs like a dynamic offense by way of their quarterback. He's a magician back there, right? See here, a ball there, a ball here. Oh, he threw the ball. What just happened? Like, that's Magic Mahomes. But here's where I'm giving the Bengals big kudos. Big kudos. The first out the gate, the Bengals punt. The Chiefs go down 7 plays, and it was a crappy punt, right? Because it was a decent punt, but they had a pretty decent return. Start the ball on the 36. They go 7 plays, make them kick a field goal. Next series, Bengals punt again. Chiefs go 13 plays for a field goal. Make them kick it. Bruce Lee. Okay. Now, the Bengals finally put a drive together, a 14-play drive to end it with a field goal. Okay, here it is again. This is the first touchdown the Bengals gave up on a 10-play drive for a touchdown. Outside of that, I'm saying the Bengals held the line on a level that, for all intents and purposes, it was a red zone line. And they held it very well. Like, very, very well. Like, they didn't give up their first touchdown to the end of the end of the second quarter. So I'm not really knocking the Bengals defense at all. Shout out to their defensive coordinator over there. Like, I'm not knocking none of it. I thought the Bengals was a timely defensive operation. They're bend don't break, and when they get you in the red zone, they're making you kick, because they're stout with the run game. They're not great in the pass rush game, but it's getting them here. I thought they would be able to apply more pressure with the front four to get Mahomes rattled and get him on the ground. I think they fell on Mahomes maybe twice. And so I think the defense played a solid game all the way up until the end. What I also was disappointed with the Bengals, and I think, all right, listen, it was a whole lot of trash talking going on back and forth. And I gotta admit, even in that trash talking, like, I used to talk trash. I did. I was a big trash talker until I got my teeth pushed in. I was a big trash talker. Um, and I love the juice. I love the confidence. I love the swag. I love all of that. Whatever you call it, I love it. But I also know if you get too much on that sauce, you get too much on that juice, starts to become a bigger target. And now people are just like fired up to take shots at the target. And to me, I don't think the Chiefs defense is great. I think the Chiefs got juiced up to go against Shotgun Burrow. What the what I would have hoped the staff would have done or would have put a plan together to really work the heck out of Mixon. Because that offensive line, man, I mean, I didn't think the Chiefs pass rush was warranted to be hitting Joe like that. I think they sacked him 6 times. I think they hit him 9, maybe more in terms of pressure. But 6 sacks, homie? Joe Mix had 100 yards last week. The O-line, if there's nothing else I know they want to do, is punch that D-line in the mouth, considering once they become in a retreat mode, that young, inexperienced offensive line, they was starting to, I think the right tackle was getting his first time playoff start. Like, I just didn't feel they did enough schematic compensation for what was happening up front with their talent. But they did all of that, and Joe Burrow still did what he did. Though he threw the 2 picks, he threw a touchdown. And SP was able to get in the end zone on the run game. But now, okay. The end of the game. Oh, man, I feel so bad for dude. I mean, why do I feel bad for this guy, man? Because frustration at the end of the game and him running Mahomes down on the sideline and he having the angle and Mahomes was going out. The frustration is because Mahomes, they shouldn't have let Mahomes out. He probably was responsible for the spy, got caught up in traffic, and frustration got the best of him. Oh man, my heart goes out to this dude because I've made some dumb mistakes on the field as a player. I've been so frustrated that I haven't been able to turn the corner on a sack, and the one time the quarterback throw the ball and I'm just right there, I may just go ahead and pop and keep rolling. See if they call it. Most of the time they called it. Almost all the time they called it. That's the point. He's run like Mahomes is gimpy. They're expecting to be able to contain him because he's gimpy. And he's still being able to pull off some of this magic with him being gimpy. And in the last series, they got these dudes. They got them. Worst case, we go into overtime. Worst case, that's what has to happen. We go to overtime. As he's running, when the first dude missed P. Holmes, I'm saying, let him go out of bounds. Just let him go out of bounds. When he reached out, I knew it was going to be a flag. Because it's fatigue, their frustration. And look, I'm not here to tell you he wasn't hurt. He probably was hurt after it physically. But I think soon as he made the play, and Patrick Mahomes gave some acting to go with it. Did you see him flam? The flim flam? Yeah. He did the little flim flam. But it still was going to be a penalty. And when dude realized that he rolled up on someone's water bottle was like, what did I just do? Worst case scenario is 3rd and 5. And they still, or 4, I think 4th and 5. He couldn't get back up. He may have had something hurt on him physically, but I'm going to tell you, his pride was hurt. His ego was hurt. And the team was, look, I will say this. I will say this about a team. A team will have your back. A team will support. A team will support you. But if you think that the team not salty he did that, and for whatever it's worth, I watched the game. I don't watch the ball. He didn't have a great game either. And so I'm saying, yeah, this was tough, man. This was tough for that kid. I hope he's able to recover emotionally and mentally. And I hope he doesn't fall victim to the pink slip. I don't wish that on nobody. It's a long year, long game, hard-fought game. At the end, y'all held one of the top offenses in the NFL to 23 points. Straight up. Game respect game. I wish you did not make I really do. I really do. I really wish you didn't make the ill-advised mistake at the end, because we might have had an interesting game. But it all goes back to, in my opinion, them not being able to get after Mahomes on the defensive end. They had 1 sack on the day. And then conversely, this dude, I mean, this, like for me, they just could not protect Burrow. And some people said, so what? They couldn't protect them last year. All right, get cute, get real cute, and think you can just let people tee off on your QB and you make a Super Bowl run. He didn't win it, did he? Maybe I'm mistaken, dude. Did he win it? I'm just saying. So you can't sit here and tell me it's okay to let these boys tee off on your quarterback and he gonna be okay at the end of the day. I mean, unblocked man, they had free hitters coming at him. It's 2 things that you don't want to happen to your quarterback and your offensive line coach, which ultimately will turn back to your running back coach. If you let a free runner get to your quarterback, the whole protection, the trust of protection is now compromised. So as a defensive guy, I'm always trying to figure out who I can confuse. I confused one of them. One time, I'm in their head. Why? Because whoever blew the protection, somebody saw the protection blown, tried to re-up, protect it. And so now the running back trying to recover a mistake for the guard or the tackle. And so now I got him where I want him. You get any free runners at your quarterback, they under your protection, dog. They got your protection down. And if they got your protection down, they gonna knock your quarterback down. I know it's so simple, isn't it? All right, so that's how I feel. I really do. And Kansas City tried to give the ball. They tried to give the game to the Bengals. They tried so hard. But some of the look, you what you gonna say other than hats off, Chiefs are gone, Bengals are out. And no cool cigars. All right, next team to really discuss This hat's so dope too. I wish they could have won and I would have worn a hat like, oh yeah, you see me. That's what I wish would have happened, but it didn't go down that way. And so yeah, that's how I feel. And so in my mind, we did our thing. So you're like, well, who is our thing, coach? What are you talking about, coach? Well, I'm a Philadelphia fan by way of my son. I like Philly. Anyone tell you I don't like Philly? Go check my timeline. I don't have to lie to kick it, homie. You know why I don't got a lot to kick it? Ain't nothing to lie about. Philadelphia is that deal. Did you see? Did you even notice? Did you even notice that Jalen Hurts barely threw the ball down the field? Did anyone notice that? That Jalen Hurts is like, don't worry about it, I got you. That's who he is. Don't worry about it, I got you. Yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I felt, flat out. And so, yeah, man. Where we go with this? It's so interesting for me because when I think of the Philadelphia Eagles, I think of my time in Philly, and it's been one of the best times I can recall. It just has. It was like, it was how did you say, just epic, just good. It was good to us. That's it. All right. So here we go. Trying to figure out what's going on my other feed over here. Trying to figure that out. You know, see what's going on. I don't know what's going on. One, and I would have worn a hat. All right, that's it. We gonna come back with the 49er update.